organizations or one or two event organizers to like influx all of the money, to bring all of the money in for the entire all of esports, North America, EU, wherever it may be, to bring all that in, then I mean, of course, there's only going to be a few teams that benefit from that. When we need more local things, we need more regional things happening in esports for there to be more money for more people.
All right.
I think that if I could try to summarize real fast, I think that what Logan is saying, I think it's just that you need to look at some scenes with a little bit of common sense. If there are professionals sinking a fuck ton of time into something, and you see that a lot of them are sinking a lot of time into something, and most of them aren't making any money, like at some point it's almost inevitable that some kind of tomfoolery or some kind of match fixing is going to happen for somebody to make money, because people aren't going to continue to sink a lot of time into doing something and not get paid for it. Sorry, go ahead.
Real quick, I just wanted to say that I know the answer to my question isn't like, oh my god, this is a huge discovery. It was pretty obvious what I was leading into. What I wanted to change, I want to take an opportunity to make the match fixing discussion. I wanted to change it from match fixing to the point that Counter-Strike and Valve has treated Counter-Strike like a stepchild from day one. They have not treated it the same as Dota 2, and it is still lacking the tools that esports organizations need to make proper events and make money. Like, there's no, like, you can't buy tickets to watch events. Like, we don't even know how much money the esports case has made because Valve hasn't shared that information with us. And to put into perspective the way that I'm pretty sure Counter-Strike views Valve, at TI2 or TI3, I'm pretty sure Slasher did an interview with Eric Johnson, and he pretty much said, yeah, Counter-Strike needs to prove themselves to us. What the fuck is that, dude? Are you fucking real? Counter-Strike just carried Steam for like 10 goddamn years. Dota 2 randomly comes out to Steam, and it is announced with a $1 million tournament. Are you fucking joking, dude? This is some bullshit right there.
All right, brother. All right, we're going to get to another caller. But Logan, thanks for the call, buddy.
Peace out, dude. Live on 3, Unfiltered, Esports, Richard Lewis, Kadred.com. Fuck it.
Do you know what?
I like that kid. I love that kid, man. I love that kid.
Calling ever. What the
that
fuck?
was, man. That was.
No, actually, I tell you what. I think the best call-in on this show we've ever had was the one guy that it was either me or Richard called him out in stream chat, and he came on and he was like, "Well, actually, I wasn't really listening to you guys so much. I'm sorry, I was wrong." And then I felt like an asshole.
Oh god.
I can't remember. He was called like Huggy Bear or some shit, wasn't he?
No, it was something else. It was the guy that was saying, "Well." Wait, was that the guy that said, "Well, I have a degree"? Was it? Is that guy? Yeah. All right. So Robbie, okay. Fear Dragon, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, good to have you. Good to have me. Sorry, I'm really tired. But anyways, I just wanted to really quickly start off with saying thank you, ChanManV.
We're all tired, bro.
Dude, I've been here with all of you guys actually. Well, I should say Destiny, awesome, Richard Lewis, and ChanManV. But yeah, so. But hey, yeah, so I just want to say thanks to ChanManV. You've been an enormous inspiration, just kind of proof that hard work and dedication, you can still break into the scene. It's not just entirely an old boys club. But just moving on to my question, so I wanted to ask
Being
more
Chinese helps, though. He's got the mad Chinese illegal hookers.
Chinese.
Just saying.
Alright, so my question is about players transitioning into roles after their careers. And I feel like right now, there's a lot of players that, you know, they're dropping out of high school sometimes. A lot of them are skipping college. And it's really like after the peak of their careers, what the hell are they doing? Because even if you're wildly successful in esports, if you can't transition into being like a commentator or an analysis role, or maybe some kind of magical role that people on the, you know, people watching don't really even know about or hear about, what do you really do? I feel like there's not a whole lot of application in terms of applying for quote-unquote real-world jobs. I mean, maybe the solution is to be like Liquid Hero or something and, you know, smoke enough cigarettes every day that you just die at the peak of your career, like 31 or something. But what exactly happened to these guys?
That
like,
is
wow. Okay.
not the best comparison you could make.
Okay, so the question is what do players do after their career is over?
Riot have been trying to address this. I mean, there was an article about it recently on Polygon, which didn't surprise anyone. Polygon have really started writing all these pro-Riot, almost advertorials lately.
Advertorials? I've never even heard of advertorials. That's cool.
But yeah, it's an industry term, Chris. I won't bore you with it. But you know, I'm kind of a little bit dubious almost about the amount of pro-Riot press that's been on Polygon lately, but whatever, we won't go into it. But they were talking about how Riot are taking measures to ensure that the pro players can continue their career once they are too old to play esports. They use the term age out, and that is that basically you're washed up by your mid-20s, and they were comparing it to NFL, and they're looking to try and find ways to transition you into other roles within esports, which is cool. I totally understand why they're trying to do that, but I don't think that the industry is big enough to really support that natural progression. I think there's very few opportunities. Like, if you're a player, you've got to have something about you to become a commentator. And if you've been a player and a commentator, once you've done that and you've cashed those chips, you've got to have something very special about you to go on and do something else. Which is why when we look at guys like, I don't know, Day9 as an example, what he's done is he's been very smart in how he's almost like rationed the amount you can make from the industry. He's done the video content thing, the casting thing, and now he's already looking at developing his own game. But once you get to the end of that particular rope, I don't think there's a lot left for you. And I think you either continue to reinvent yourself within esports and attach yourself to another game, or you need to get the fuck out because you've peaked and there's not going to be anything else there. If you haven't got the stomach to continually attach yourself to a new game and have the industry be like, oh, you lost your passion, oh, you're just a cash grabber, meh. All of that, the shit I say, basically. If you haven't got the stomach for that, then you need to get the fuck out and just do a real job,
I mean, if you look at pro sports, there is a multi-billion-dollar NCAA thing that does football and basketball, and even then, unless you're LeBron fucking James,
right.
and you're going from the senior year of high school directly to the pros, you go to college because you go to college anyway. Even the ones that go to the NBA, because of the risk of what may happen. So esports does not have a multi-billion-dollar NCAA thing that exists. So obviously, the dropping out of high school or college is a poor decision considering that, and that we do not have a developed pro international superstar scene. People just have to be realistic about where esports is. Well, you should do your education. You should try to have other skills.
Well, I think you can.
Here's the big problem. The big problem is that you can't. Whatever ChanManV was about to say, you can't do that. I think I don't know what you. But like, if you want to be the best, you can't be studying for like a really. If you've got kids who are playing 50, 60 hours a week, you can't. If you want to like do the school thing and study full time and hardcore and all that, so that you're quote unquote doing the responsible choice, that's great. And you know what? If you look at it from an expected value analysis, you have a much higher expected value going to school, getting education, and playing games for fun than you do dropping school and playing games professionally. But the chances of you actually making it far in the professional scene while you're also trying to juggle all those other things is very, 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 very low. And that's kind of the sad thing. At least with like, if you're an NCAA athlete, like you pointed out before, they're forced to go to school, even if some of the degrees they pick up are trash and a lot of them have trouble finishing school anyways. At least they grab the fucking degree. But that's not necessarily the same for esports, where somebody's forcing you to go to class to pick up your sociology degree or whatever.
So here's one. Well,
the only one that could do it.
Here's one thing. Like, I mean, I think you keep thinking of like, being a former player has to, you have to have something that's like completely relevant, like casting and that kind of crap. But the thing is being a player and being especially a top-notch player, you gain all this experience, like life experience, even dealing with, like an Asian, you almost run your own brand, right? I mean, you're essentially doing. Well, okay.
I think teams do that
just follow
more
me.
so.
Just follow me. No. Just follow me. Just follow me. Okay.
But you already started off incorrect.
No. Whether it's teams or whether it's like just individuals that are, like has an agent, they're using an agency. The thing is, like, they're gaining a lot of experience from that. And yeah, sure, you should go back to school. Going back to school is definitely a high probability type of thing, right? But you could also, I could see just people, some players, and I've seen some players, they try to become entrepreneurs, right? And do something relevant in the esports space.
Okay, hold on. I have to stop for a second, because that's blatantly not true. For some people, that's true, okay? And I'll start to jerk myself. I think that I could walk away from this with a fuck ton of experience in terms of marketing, in terms of like web design and all that shit. Even though I didn't do a lot of it myself, I at least understand how a lot of the integration works. I understand how interfacing with a lot of different people works. I understand how to communicate on a professional level and unprofessional level. Like, I learned a ton of fucking shit because of all the stuff that I've done personally. But you can look at other people who are wildly successful in the industry who didn't pick up any of those skills. We just talked about him earlier. Idra didn't pick up any of that. And when he didn't have EG, and not to insult him or anything, I'm not trying to insult him, but when he didn't have EG to hold his hands, he had nothing. Naniwa, huge fucking audience, has nothing now. He didn't build anything for himself. There are going to be players that are wildly successful. 99% of the Korean players, fuck, even the Korean fucking teams in Brood War walked away with no experience because Kespa held their hand through everything. There are countless examples.
But you're talking about
the amount of people that are going to walk away from esports with beneficial life experiences are always going to be the massive outliers versus the amount of people that will actually take away solid skills. Because most players will just go on a team, and even the people that manage the teams are fucking terrible at it. Like anybody here who's been around in esports for more than 3 years could manage PR and sponsorships better than 99% of team owners. So I think that the vast majority of players and team organizers and workers in esports will walk away with almost nothing, in my opinion.
So I don't disagree with you there, Steven. It's just, I think Fear Dragon's asking the question from this perspective of somebody that might not be in the industry yet or deciding whether to become a player or not. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I'm actually even just wondering, especially in the sense of, like, people who have, maybe they were successful as players, but as they're saying, like, they're not exactly picking up the same skills that Destiny's talking about. If you're, like, the most successful player, you're winning all the tournaments and everything, do you really have the time to start marketing yourself and doing all this other stuff? Like, even if you're so successful, like at that point where you finally hit the peak of your career and you start going on the downhill, you eventually retire, what do you do from there? It's not even just about unsuccessful players.
It can be done. It's just you have to.
He did it. Grubby I think is another great.
Did you say that? No, stop! Fatality and Grubby are the outliers. Those guys had amazing marketing. Grubby is an amazing marketer.
I know. Yes, that's what I was
saying. No, but I'm just saying, again,
it's not my fucking motherboard. Like, those guys obviously had their shit together way more than the average person.
So Fear, I mean, like Robbie, I mean, it's like you have to like go into it with the mindset of absorbing things. I mean, you can't just like, oh, by default, all these players, like football players, they're not by default going to fall into analyst jobs and they're not working for CBS and shit like that.
A lot of those guys also have severe financial trouble leaving, and they leave with multi-million dollars and they still go bankrupt. What about the average esport kid that leaves with like his $2,000 in earnings? I think the concern that he the voices is legitimate, that people will walk out of esports having sacrificed potential education and they dump 2 or 3 years of their life into it, and if they're not like actively thinking about everything they're doing, they can very easily have a 2 or 3 year black hole where they can't say anything, where you go up to a potential employer and they're like, what did you do for the past few years if you didn't go to school or anything? Well, I mean, like, I played a video game for a long time. Like, that's it? Like, whereas somebody like me or somebody in another position would be like, oh, well, I did all of this interfacing, I managed this much of an audience, I had to deal with my appearance publicly for this, like, there's all sorts of shit you can say if you're like the big go-getter, right? If you're the Fatality or the fucking Grubby or even fucking White Raw, managed his public appearance better than I did. But, like, we could go through the fucking WCS points right now, like, fucking, and we could go through, like, all of these people that don't do anything, that can barely fucking talk to the camera, even in fucking Korean. Like, what skills are they picking up, assuming that...
Sweet! Right. I just found a new job for us. Then we can do counseling for these guys that are leaving.
Exactly right.
Leaving professional gaming. Well, help them put together resumes, all that shit.
Whose job is it? Like, whose role is it to actually educate or like tell players to do this, or is it just kind of like this is something the players got to learn? And
I think it's just
we're gonna have a lot of unemployed people.
All right.
So to be fair to your question, both Kespa and Riot have made like news in recent months about trying to fix this problem specifically.
That's true.
So it is at least being addressed.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Robbie, thanks for the
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the call, man. And for those of you who don't know Fear Dragon, I mean, he
supported Destiny 1.
Yeah, he supported Destiny. Yeah, that's true. But he's in that same boat that I was in at one point. Trying to make content and making content with for the sake of the community, trying to give some development or just lesser known players some exposure. So I mean, I totally relate to that cause, and again, it's like it's really cool that I've inspired you, and the community should absolutely support what you've been doing, and you've been doing some great things, whether it's events or the shows that you're doing. Robbie, keep doing that, man.
All right, thank you so much, man. I don't want to take up any more of you guys' time. Take it easy.
Okay, one last call because this is.
Last one, why? Because we're going on for too long? Is it where? I'm curious where you draw that line at. Is 10.5 hours is too much? But
Richard's dying over here, right? He's in Europe, okay? So.
Hey, and I've still got the final fucking drink to do.
All right, we got one last call. I'm gonna do. Here we go. This is my man. I vote kick that I.
Wow. Is this the real I vote kick?
This
or the
is
guy
the real
I
vote
vote kick before?
Right. I vote kick.
Shit. Now you just need to get that software engineer guy.
Hey, I promised I would get you on one of these days, man, and I've saved it for this episode.
Wow, thank you so much. Okay, so my question is, to get straight to the point, who's somebody or an organization behind the scenes that is completely fucking unbearable and should be called out for a situation in the past or in the present?
Welcome to the show, Filtered, dog.
Welcome to the show.
I mean, come on, last call. It's got to be something.
Who wants to answer it?
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay.
Like, Rod doesn't have a job to lose, so it should be him, right?
John, either John or Rod here, man.
Okay,
I don't have anybody. Like
fucking everyone with their incessant bitching about everyone
behind
else
the
is that's
scenes?
unbearable.
Who's somebody behind the scenes that needs to be called out?
Or somebody out in the open.
There are many of your favorite casters that I'm thinking of right now who I think are complete douchebags based on the way they have interacted with me in recent months. So I'm not going to give you any names because this is filtered.
What game?
Do you guys want a different question then?
What game?
No, fuck it. No, I'm gonna try and answer
behind the fucking scenes that suck to work with. I don't know. What do you think? Name some people that you think, and I'll tell you if I've had experiences with them. Go. Who do you think is bad to work with, and I'll tell you yes or no.
Wait, me or someone else?
You. I vote kick. Who? I'll tell you if I've had experiences.
Jeez. Let's go with the obvious one. Day 9. Richard Lewis, anything?
Wow.
That's all you, Richard. Go.
No, I mean, that's not... honestly, if anyone was to sit on this show and say he's not a prima donna, they're lying out their ass. Like, fuck. I mean, he always was back in the day. So I had no dealings with him from like 2012 or something. But like back in the day when he was at the top of his game, holy fucking shit, he was only brown M&Ms in my fucking rider. You know what I mean? Like he was that level rock star prima donna. Everyone's got a day 9 story. No one ever tells them because, and I don't know why you wouldn't now. Like I don't see how we can hurt anyone's career now. But
I don't have a day 9 star. I mean, okay.
When let's see, it was ESL, I believe, in 2010 or 11. He literally fell asleep underneath, almost missed his cast, fell asleep underneath the tables at Comic-Con.
I remember
because,
that story. I remember that story.
Yeah, ESL had, in his defense, though, he was really sick. He was extremely sick. But
this
that's
makes
my
him sound
story.
like a nice
that's
guy,
not
John.
even.
That's
not even.
story.
Yeah, they want like.
Come on,
all right,
John.
I can tell.
I know what they want. I know what they
want
want, but I've never had anything but.
Sean's always been good to me. That's all I'll say.
Yeah,
Sean's
same
always
with
been
me.
extremely great.
But
to
I haven't
me,
had too many
so.
dealings. So.
I've had a lot of dealings with him.
Chris, you're
so.
killing the show.
I'm serious. I'm fucking serious.
Hey, you know what?
I told you I was gonna try to get him on today to like mend bridges with your ass, but.
Fuck mending bridges. Like serious.
All right, Rod.
Rod can speak. Because my whole thing is I can think of totally something that would be juicy, but Sean has always been a great. We've never had a problem personally, so I have no reason to talk shit. You know why?
It's never stopped you in the past.
All right, next name, Mitch. Next name. Next name.
That's totally bullshit. That is bullshit.
Guess
next name.
getting an industry pass. There is no old boys club, by the way, guys. So just so you know. It's not like. I would advise you guys to go to work your way up the esports industry. Go to an after party, get drunk, and talk to people who work in the industry, and then just listen out for the whispers of day 9, and you'll hear the stories that we all know and love that we're not telling you right now because this is unfiltered on the last episode. Okay, so who else?
2 more names. 2 more names. I vote.
Oh fuck! 2 names. Okay. Noni.
No. Noni.
Noni.
Wow. Okay.
I've heard a few stories, so don't go all at once. But
Nothing is.
I have nothing to say. I don't know Tyler that well, so I can't even say anything.
Fuck, man.
I met him once at God, where was it? It was at BlizzCon. I met Tyler once at BlizzCon. That's about it. That's all I have.
I got nothing.
Okay.
There's
This
no
question's
one.
fucking shit now.
Oh,
guys.
no,
Let's
come
not
on,
wrap it up.
That name.
We haven't
can't
answered
count
yet.
that.
We
Give
haven't
him
answered.
another name. Give him two more.
That was a great name. I have something specifically, but it's so like, come on, man. I'm gonna ruin people's lives on this show. I can't. I don't know what.
If you just say the right name, I'll go in. I promise. I'll go in dry.
All right, one more minute. One more.
Okay,
No. Give this guy two more. Give me
Two more.
Oh, come on. He's
really feel, Richard.
Two more.
Real names.
Someone Richard has worked with. Come on, caller.
Sundance or MLG Adam? Destiny?
No, that's more Americans. No, you need.
No, but the thing is, I would tell you only good things about Sundance. Actually, it's kind of lame. Okay. So he's a really cool dude.
That like that's hard to believe.
Yeah, I know, but like.
Okay, what about Adam then, Rich?
So which one was he again?
He's like
MLG Adam was the guy that headed up Dota 2 for a while.
No, but didn't he go to in ESL event recently? I'm pretty sure we had beers together. I don't know. Fuck it. He bought me drinks, so he's cool. Like, come on. Names.
Okay. I have some better names. I have some better names for you, Richard. Carmack.
Right, let's do it.
I'm thinking of names, people who you must have met multiple times.
So this isn't even adding anything new to the dialogue. And I love how it's like, let's throw Richard under the career bus once again, right at the end of an Unfiltered. But like I think he's the most overrated journalist that ever fucking lived in esports, dude. And he made a very good career out of being that guy. But I've never really super rated his work ever. It would be disingenuous of me to start pretending I did now. I always criticized him for it in the day. We used to dig each other out. And I think the thing that really annoyed me most of all was when, like, many years later, like, so here I am, IEM brand guy, ESL brand guy. He would always throw out, like, every 3 months this, like, article about the state of esports journalism. And I used to think, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, what is he talking about? It's better than it ever has been. We've actually got trained industry professionals now. We never had that in his day. But as a guy, super cool. Like, seriously, like, once I got past the beef and actually got to meet him and see how hard he works at an event and everything he's done for the IEM brand. Like, you got to take your hats off and you got to fucking respect it. And he's always been super cool to me. I mean, I think this probably best sums up our relationship. So I went to an IEM. He went in and we were getting our press accreditations. And he literally came over. He sort of pushed me to the front of the queue. And he went to all the staff and he went, this guy is an asshole, but you just give him everything he wants. And he just fucking pushed me in and fucked up. So
okay, then.
Cool. So I for that I will always love Carmack. So sometimes it's like what me and Rod were talking about, some of the old beef that was in the past, like what you think about people's work and all that shit. You got to squash it for the good of esports and moving forward. Michael knows how I feel about him as a person. He also knows how I feel about his work. So.
Hey, Mitch, I got better stories for you. So one of the names that you may have mentioned
Cheers, Rod.
May have done something else with a certain famous caster in his game, where they may have taken some special brownies at one point at an MLG event, and were so totally fucked up for at least 12 hours straight that they could not move on the chair, and one just sat up there and just kind of like rocked back and forth for hours, and then both of them missed their flights to where they were going back to and had to wait for their next flight.
Where were they back to?
Great. Okay, last one. I vote.
Okay, so the chat's demanding JP.
JP.
They want blood on JP. I don't know why, but yeah.
What, Colonel Friendzone?
I just don't like him.
Oh shit.
JP McBader.
Oh my god. He's actually
JP
he's actually like a cool dude. I've never had any problems working with him before. He's exactly as you think he'd be. He's kind of like laid back and like just chill and.
He is, you know, what the thing about JP is like, I mean, so obviously, you know, he's the recent history. He's been, you know, amazing to me. But for the longest time, you know, he's I don't know if it's because I didn't really know JP like really well, so I don't know if he's like just not crazy, just not very approachable normally. But you know, it wasn't the easiest to approach JP, like at least through this whole, you know, just doing shows and stuff. He was on one of my shows, and I have to say the show that JP was on with Jason Bass was probably one of my worst CTLs like ever. So I don't know if it had something to do with that or not, but you know, there were times where JP wasn't like as approachable as even at BlizzCon. It's like I kind of wanted just to you know, kind of talk to him a little bit, like personally. I barely even had like a minute, I think, to even talk to him. But overall, man, JP's been great to me. I mean, you know, like if there was a passing of the torch from State of the Game, it was definitely JP doing that for my shows on the finale of State of the Game. So he's always been cool to me.
Put it this way with JP, right? So I fucking used to rip on him because of Real Talk, right? Because he had a show called Real Talk, and I think one of the shows that he did, he accidentally put it out on air, him talking to the subject. I think it might have been Joe Miller. And he went like, so, is there anything you don't want me to talk about? And I just felt like, oh, you know, that's about Real Talk, really? And then that happens. So I ripped on him for ages, like, Real Talk, just hammering it down his throat like I used to do on social media. Like, what a sham, what a fraud.
That. Jesus, God.
But actually... I got to interview him for one of my one of the shows I did, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is like such a fucking nice dude. Like, it was one of those moments where as I was getting to know him and as I was talking to him, I was like, oh shit, Rich, you gone fucked up, dude. Like, this is a real nice guy. You shouldn't have attacked this guy at all. Like, you should be thoroughly ashamed of yourself. So JP's like a fucking gentle giant, man. Like, I think the most recent thing that I thought was super funny was that whole thing that him and Jeff had on that, like,
oh god, the whole Jen thing. Oh my god,
what did you call her?
Yeah, what did you call her? Like, he just went full fucking white knight with +6 chivalry or something. Like, it was next level, dude. But he's a great guy. Like, seriously, chivalry's a dying art. So we should all love JP for that.
Slasher.
I've had mad previous beef with JP, and I've worked with him for a very long time. But again, come on, it's a shitty question. My whole point earlier was that love and like everyone should talk each other.
So filthy.
Serious. I don't even know what drugs you're on at the moment, Rod. But holy fucking shit! Like,
happy drug, man. Happy fucking drug.
Dude, I'm just totally high on life, dude. Like, fuck.
All right,
come on.
All right, I vote, man. Thanks, buddy.
You done blew it, man. You could have asked some real mad names, dude.
Man, I was expecting like crazy from him. Actually, this guy subbed, and he was like the guy that called in. It's like, oh, I'm not nervous.
Too many Americans.
Yeah, no.
Richard's worked more with Euros. You got to think more European event centric.
Dude, I vote is like probably on Reddit is amazing. What's up, Breaker?
Not much. I want to give a huge shout out to Artosis. He just sent me a message on Skype, and him coming down to the Taiwan Open, like that was the key success we had for first internationalization move. Sorry, that was random, but I tried to make it timeout, like, well, if that makes sense. Sorry.
I love
okay,
it.
So
what just happened?
okay. So I'm sorry. It's late at night over there for you guys. It's only 2:30 in the afternoon for me. My question, I'm in Taiwan. My question is very simple. So, like, what do you think is the most stressful part of kind of, I guess, putting your name out there, and I guess you could say getting recognition for your work, and how do I say this, getting a paid job? Because like what I'm doing is I'm trying to get into casting, and I think I'm seeing some success, but not quite to the same extent that I just want to, if that makes sense.
What's the most stressful part?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, okay, so, I mean, I don't know if this is going to necessarily prepare you for anything. Like, we touched upon it a little bit in the Totalbiscuit section.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get, like, okay, suddenly you're accessible. So if you're a person and you want to have the right to express your opinion to a listening audience, then the assumption is that that dialogue is a two-way conversation. And of course, you know, as any good stand-up will tell you, it isn't and it shouldn't be. But unfortunately, people don't see it that way. And you use social media, so you use Reddit and you use Twitter to leverage the audience that you have to gain views and therefore money for your product. So when you do that, you're effectively opening the door. It's like literally, it's like running a bar and like saying, you know, we don't have any doorman, we don't have any security. Come in, spend your money. Everyone can get drunk here. It's going to be super cool. It's going to be nice. And, you know, when it's 30 or 40 people, it really is. Everyone knows each other and it's super cool. And then, you know, maybe 50, 60 people, then 100 people. And then all of a sudden you are going to get those assholes that are going to come in and they're going to be like, holy shit, there's no security here. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And they're going to start stabbing people and putting roofies and drinks, and raping people in the toilet.
Are you referring to the trolls, bro?
Yes, I don't know if you've ever heard of internet trolls, but no, it's not even trolls. I think what we need to talk about here is like it's not even the trolls. Like a troll is actually quite easy to deal with because you can identify a troll, and you can say this guy is simply trying to get a rise out of me. Everything he is saying is stupid. It's haters. It's people who legitimately despise you, and I have discovered these people. It can be for real simple things. So like recently I wrote an article about SIVO, and some guy hit me up on Twitter and he said like, bro, why haven't you written anymore? And it was like Sunday afternoon and my Twitter was getting spammed, so I just said like, it's my motherfucking day off, get fucked. Right, and that seems like it seems like a reasonable thing, because if you know you worked in McDonald's and you flip burgers, and some guy was like calling you up on your mobile, bro, why ain't you flipping burgers? You'd tell them to get fucked. So that's how I look at it. And then ever since then, this guy has been on Reddit every fucking day. Every thread that vaguely mentions me, he's there. Yeah, Richard Lewis is a total douchebag, man, because like he blocked me on Twitter, and like how fucking dare he deprive me my right to give him feedback, and fuck this guy. And literally, like if you look at his posting history, and I won't even give his name because this cunt doesn't even deserve any more attention, but like, and I, you know, I use the term cunt absolutely affectionately, but like he this guy, this fucking guy has just got this litany of hate, like, aimed exclusively at me. That is all he is fucking posting right now. And, like, I don't know how I can deal with that. Like, I am starting to spin the fuck out. Like, I am starting to have my own little psychological crisis where I'm thinking, how can I find out where this guy lives? How can I find out more about this guy? Like, I need to take I need to take matters into my own hands. Well, no, and it spins you out, and it slowly fucks with your head because you can't understand how far that guy is willing to go just to fuck with your day. And
I don't think I'm talking about that, Richard.
He's not alone,
I'm not talking. Hold on, I'm not talking about trolls. Like what I'm talking about is people.
They're not trolls, though. That's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually. He's not a troll.
No, there's actually people that will hate you.
He's a legitimate human being. Yeah. He's probably got like, you know,
happens to all of us. Happens to me.
I'm going to assume he's a virgin, but he certainly has like a family. He has a relationship. He has like parents and friends, and he's a normal guy. And everything else he does is normal and rational, except when it comes down to you. To you, he is irrational. He has an irrational hatred of you as a human being.
It doesn't even have to be that extreme either. It could simply be when Chris and I started CTL. I remember from the very start, you know, that people make comments about the way you look, about the way you talk. They have to find something.
Welcome to esports.
Yeah, but it's not just esports and everything.
Yeah, but you know,
it's in anything that we do. When you put yourself in the public, you just expect that you're going to get ridiculed.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example too, like Brickers, that I used to think that, oh man, these guys just don't read, you know, like one or two comments, like just don't, you know, affect you. But you know, the more successful you get, those one or two comments turn into 100 comments,
Well, right. And the thing is, like, I'm not even talking about those. I'm actually like, holy fuck, we got way, I think, a little bit off topic.
No, that's the hardest thing about becoming famous.
For real.
Seriously. That is like the hardest thing about it.
Yeah, but I think he wants to deal with those problems. Like, he wants to be famous and then have.
No,
I
mean, I don't
like,
understand.
Rather than like, we're going.
Okay. Like, here's the thing. I've got 3,000 fans that speak Chinese, and none of them give me shit. Or if they do, like, I don't read about it, or I don't learn to give a fuck about it. Actually, I do speak, read, and write Chinese fairly well. I have an undergraduate degree in Chinese language and literature. But the thing is, like, what I'm talking about is people who are inside the industry that are ready to burn you. In that regards, me and Richard Lewis are on the same exact fucking page, because we've both got the same list of people that we want out of this industry.
Well, what's my list, dude?
Okay.
Since we got the same one, what's my list?
No, let's
say it. Come on. Yeah,
no, I can't say it because here's the thing. I'm on the rise, and the last thing that I want to do is have my jet get shot down while I'm getting off the runway. Does that make sense?
Dude, here's the thing, brother. I reckon if you're honest and you list this list right now, I think that's gonna be what launches you.
All right, here it goes. Here it goes. Because I know he's watching. I know he's watching. Tobias fucking Sherman. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Wow. Okay. So for just to clarify, Breaker, that's Richard's agent. So I don't think that Richard wants that guy out of the industry. So that definitely is not. Not definitely.
I want to point out that my agent being out of the industry might be a good thing.
What?
Let's think about this
what
logically.
is happening?
Wow, what is going on? Okay.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just taking a piss, obviously. Like, no, Toby, I gotta be honest, okay, so Toby won't mind me telling this. I used to think he was like a sleazy, corrupt piece of shit. And then I realized very quickly, I used to realize that he was a sleazy, corrupt piece of shit who can get you fucking paid. And that's exactly everything an agent should be. And he's a great guy, and he works really fucking hard for his talent. Like, since I moved to Gem, I went from being a fucking toxic asset that no one would hire to do anything to being a guy that actually makes decent fucking money from esports. Like, for the first time in his life. Like, I can afford t-shirts. Like, it's great. Like, I love what Toby's done for me.
Why don't you like Toby, Breaker? I mean, like, you're talking about Artosis just messaging you. Toby's obviously Artosis'
Here's the thing. Okay. I met Teosis and Artosis. I met Nick and Dan. They're both really nice guys, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them whatsoever. All right?
All right, this...
But, like, I'll post more about it on the day that I retire. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, all right. Well,
how about that?
All right. Wow. Okay. That was surprising.
That Toby's really a sleazy piece of shit. I was a human guy. I thought he'd go to like the next level, but he really didn't.
He almost helped me 3 times. Helped me 3 times.
Breaker.
Yeah.
You didn't helping someone. Breaker, dude. I don't really know you so well, but did you fucking listen to me in the beginning of the show? Listen, your personal beef with Toby and whatever the fuck is going on with your own goddamn life. Fine. Whatever, like,
oh my god,
whatever, man. Like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. If Toby has issues with running EMG, and there's like a thing in esports where it comes to like a story that there's something to go on, then it's like worth like talking about him. But like, whatever your deal is with Toby, fucking is your fucking deal, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, he has a deal. He just doesn't want to share it right now.
All right, brother. But,
that's right.
Well, I better cut it off before you.
All right.
You like explode your jet, buddy. Okay.
ChanManV.
Yeah.
That's the best $5 I've ever spent in my life, bro. Thanks for taking my call.
Right.
I just really wanted to get that off my chest.
Did
All
you
right, later.
think this is gonna help? I want to know. Do you think this is gonna be a positive thing?
Well, I just like.
Well, Rich just said it would be.
Of course, it's not gonna be a positive thing.
I
mean, what the fuck?
I think I'm gonna set up a meeting with Breaker and Toby, and I'm like to maybe get him into Gem and develop his talent and stuff. And I think it's all the hate and all the negativity is gonna, just ebb away.
What? Oh, yeah. I mean,
he's gonna broker a deal between the two.
Yeah.
Get paid.
I don't know, man, but he definitely has some serious craziness there, man. That's
Yeah, I gotta be honest, Chris. For the last show, your vetting of the calls was really poor.
Dude, blame
Really, we
me.
have some of the best calls.
Blame
It was
me.
awesome.
Okay, all right.
It's almost 8 a.m.
All right, before Richard, doesn't gets his ass kicked out of his place.
No, seriously,
wait
as
a
well.
minute.
Like, my girlfriend cooking.
ChanManV, I want to know about you. Look, Richard.
Final thoughts.
When I think about this show,
Final thoughts.
it is you, Steven, and Richard, and then Cody also. And just my mind when
What the fuck, Rod?
But Chris, this is their final show. I want to know about from you what you think about everything and the shows so far, and all of your experiences. So I know these guys may have a surprise for you. I don't know how you want to time it. I don't even know what it is, but I wanted to hear from you about
so just about the shows,
favorite times, your favorite guests,
times.
your favorite
okay.
moments.
All right, okay, that's fair enough. So with the shows, I mean, I definitely had a lot of favorite times. I mean, I had some good times definitely doing Pro Corner. But I have to say my favorite times at least began, doing Climb the Ladder with John. You know what I mean? Like, me and John, we played this video. What? Me and John, we got to know each other like kind of randomly. Actually, it's kind of funny. It was like after I had that female gamer on my show on Pro Corner. Who was it?
That female gamer? Wow.
No, female StarCraft 2 player. It was
they're just all interchangeable.
She made a big impression.
It's hard to remember her. What was her name? What was her name, John?
John,
you remember?
I don't even remember now either.
No, it was I mean.
Was it Babcock? Was it?
No. Female StarCraft 2 player.
Was it Caitlyn?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. She's not around anymore. She's not around.
I know who it is. Julia.
No, not Julia. I did have Julia on it before. Who was it? She was on a team. She was on Legion, I think. Aurora. That's who it was. Aurora. That's what it was.
Yes, Aurora.
Yeah, and then we kind of talked after that because I think I had a match, like a show match I did, right? And then we ended up talking. Anyways, the point was that like John and I think we continued, just having conversations. Just I don't even remember how long after, but we decided to start that show, which was basically all about having discussions about esports that don't happen on air, right? And I think we, there were a lot of episodes I was really proud of, like with Climbing the Ladder, and we didn't get many views either. So that was a big, that for me, I feel like that's pretty telling, right? That of just kind of what I wanted to do with the shows. And John was really great being a partner in all this too, because it's like he was just always on board with what I wanted to do. And I wanted to have a show about photography. I don't give a shit how many people watched, right? Because nobody freaking talks about esports photography and how they're getting fucked over, you know what I mean? And now seeing Helena get hired by ESL, that's just like so awesome. Having a show about the map makers, right? And having those guys on, giving some people voices and that sort of thing. Those, the ones that got the least amount of views were the ones that are most satisfying for me. Jenna got a lot. The episode with Jenna got a lot of pub, and this was probably already after the time they decided to start Axiom, but Jenna's episode was a big deal. Like, it was a big episode about with giving Climb the Ladder some legitimacy. So her talking about that
caused some serious fucking ripples as
well, and that was
show.
I think the first ripple that the show, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but the first ripple that was really sent out there was when what's his name, Gwyn just had just went ape shit on our show, right, about that one tournament, and that was all crazy. But the real one was really when Jenna came on, and she was she talked about just the life of a Korean player and how it was very romanticized, and it's actually terrible, right?
That was Slayers.
Yeah,
right?
that was when Slayers basically went under, and that episode was amazing. It was like maybe the only time I had Jenna on a show, which is too bad. But yeah, that show was one of my favorites. Steven's show, I think it was it Climbing the Ladder? Well, we had me, you, like all of us, and Damaga and Husky. What's funny is the reason that Unfiltered was just so natural, like, and it was like a thing that I had on my list, like in this book of ideas I always have, like to want to do something with Steven, is because all the episodes of Steven were just so like impactful and good. I mean, they were so great. I mean, the whole after he wrote that StarCraft 2 is going to die, Legacy of the Void, he was on either Climbing the Ladder or Pro Corner, right? Like talking about it too. So that episode, was like just I felt like exceptional. And when I judge exceptional episodes, I mean when the community talks about the shit that we talked about on the show afterwards.
But in a serious manner, like they're literally.
That's what it's about.
They're interested in knowing more about what we had just got done talking about.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
don't want the discussion to end with the episode. I want like people to talk about the stuff that we brought up or we uncovered or whatever, right? And that's what we were able to do on Climbing the Ladder, to begin with. And I feel like we were able to like unveil a lot of what's going on behind the scenes too. We had the Robert Ohlens on the show and the Jason Lakes on the show, and a lot of those guys, like they were able to give a lot of input on it, and even having Mark as a co-host, that was a risk on my part, but I did it anyways because I felt like he could again help what we're trying to achieve, which is like showing you what esports really is, right? And Mark was controversial in the end. Quantic went down, and there was some weirdness between us at the end, even though like I was the better person, I still believe, John, in the end, but some craziness there at the end. But still, Mark was a huge part of the success of Climbing the Ladder too. But then Unfiltered, doing with Steven, I felt like Unfiltered was just the thing that we just needed as a community, which was, well, okay, there were a couple things. I, as a hidden agenda, wanted to bring Steven back to StarCraft 2. Okay, so that was definitely.
What? I approach you for this. Fuck
No.
No, but he had an agenda.
No, you can ask everybody else. Like my agenda, not one of my agendas after starting the show with you. Yeah, you approached me about it. Absolutely. Is like I wanted to bring you back to StarCraft 2. I mean, that was one of the things because I felt like that was where you should be, like for yourself too. So I wanted to do that for sure. And actually before that, bringing Richard on to Climbing the Ladder, Richard, like we see it today, and I said it last episode too. I mean, he's amazingly like talented. He's very crazy. There's so many talented people in journalism, esports journalists. Like Rod here, Duncan earlier, and Richard too. And like I found you guys like later. Not you, Rod. Of course, Rod. I mean, I've been following you for a while, but Duncan and Richard, I found late. In all this stuff, and it's like. I absolutely want to give you a voice, like whatever little platform I have, I want to give you a voice in all this, and that was why, of course, I wanted to, like ask you to be on Climbing the Ladder. And, at first, Red Eye was, I think, originally a host, and then you were like absolutely the next choice for sure. After Red Eye couldn't do it, it was like, it's just because Richard, I barely even knew Richard, you know what I mean? And we knew Red Eye for a long time.
It was a crazy situation as well, because me and Paul hadn't always seen eye to eye.
Yeah, and that's all.
Yeah, that's all done. Like I had no idea how it was gonna go, and
that makes me feel good too. I mean, mending relationships between you and Paul, and like even you and TB, that helps the community, because you guys, like be doing content together, with these guys. I mean, that's what it's about, and one of the things I felt like I was able to accomplish too is bringing people that would have never been together, on a show or just projects and stuff like that, because I just saw potential in all that, and that was like a big part of satisfaction for me too. It's just like being the conduit for that sort of thing, so going into Unfiltered, with Steven, I mean, that was like beautiful, because this is some of Steven's stream was some of the best memories I have in StarCraft 2. Like his streams, or even his sessions with Jeff and Combat X, and it's just, I mean, I remember all those things, you know what I mean? And I kind of miss those things, so I kind of want to bring at least a tiny bit of that back to Unfiltered. I mean, just like in a form of a show, like with Unfiltered, and it wasn't exactly like that, because just everybody's different at this point. But I feel like, we were able to do that. And then I added the CTL aspect of it, especially when John, you were kind of like, falling out of esports to a bit, for whatever reason. I felt like Unfiltered was going to be a combination of that, just like our funny, we talk about whatever the fuck, like esports or no esports with, me and Steven. And then we bring like kind of the esports element to it. And, there were lots of us. The Christmas episode's an obvious one. Just some of the other ones that come up to mind. Was the Christmas episode the one with Thorin and Too Good? That was the one, right? Yeah, that was probably my favorite Unfiltered.
I had to break down that show.
Yeah, and actually the first episode, the first episode was just me and Steven. I remember that episode, and I remember like this is actually good. You know, this actually works really well, and it's like I didn't think it was possible just to have a 2-man show, especially with me being one of the parties, right? So I'm just like, oh man, that was kind of really really cool. And then, you know, through this process too, I got to know Steven's community and Steven's fan base and everything, and they're awesome. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what else to say except that they're freaking awesome. And I've met Amin kind of through all this stuff too. Words GG, who's helped me. So you know, those things were the things that meant the most to me, and you know, makes it hard for me to like stop doing this, because you know, I feel like, you know, it's more than just like views. You know, that's the thing, and a lot of people don't get that. And I know you guys get that, you know, like Rod, you've been doing it, and I, you know, just everybody that's worked with me, you know, obviously understands that too. But, you know, and that's the thing about the show. And you know, I don't know if Unfiltered continues, you know, without me. I mean, there's a possibility of it. I'll just like leave it at that, guys. You know, with these guys, you know, maybe like Richard and Steven, there is a possibility of that, and I can let you guys know that at least. But you know, I do hope these guys still have platforms. You know, that's really important to me. When Richard kind of was talking last episode and was just saying that maybe, you know, he won't end up, it won't be the same, or just not having this kind of like thing to go to each week to, you know, kind of just cathartic kind of things, right? Just being able to talk about anything, you know, that kind of made me sad. You know what I mean? That's not how I want to leave this. You know, I want to leave it where it's like you guys are continuing on and still affecting the community the way you do. You know, so
I feel like before we talk about that, I feel like we should watch the video. What do you think, Richard?
All right, what is this shit? Oh my god, is this the video from
Yeah,
what is this?
we sort of
what is this?
all the crew behind Unfiltered put a video.
You have to show it on stream.
Okay, I gotta download it first. I gotta download it first. Hold on. Okay, they made a video for me. Oh wow. Oh my god, it's huge. Holy shit.
Just play it on fucking YouTube. The Google Docs should let you play it right away, right?
I can just put it. Hold on, I just download it real quick, and then I'll put it into
Someone in chat said we should start a new show called Autastic.
Autastic? Oh man. Autastic?
God, dude.
Oh man. Okay, here we go. Let me find. That's gonna be it for Unfiltered. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Did Nice username make this? Let me see.
Yeah, it's from Nice username with some influence, heavily influenced by Armin, obviously. So.
Okay, well, that's really nice. Let me see. Turn this down. Remember playback. Start. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's watch this together, guys. That's going to be it for Unfiltered, guys. All right, guys, going to wrap up the show. All right, guys, well, that's going to be it for Unfiltered. All right, that's going to be it for Unfiltered this week. That's going to be it for Unfiltered, guys. That's going to be it, guys. All right, guys, that's going to be it for Unfiltered. Thanks for tuning in to Unfiltered this week, guys. That's going to be it, guys, for Unfiltered. Okay, that's going to be it for Unfiltered.
It does make you seem like you're dead, dude.
I know, it does. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to episode number 1 of Unfiltered. What's up, Steven?
Hey, what's up, man?
So, new show. I'm like super thrilled about it to see how this is going to go. Welcome to Unfiltered number 2, episode 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 20. Quick shout out, I guess, before we call the show. Richard?
Just to you, brother. Just to you.
Thanks to ChanManV for having me. Thanks to ChannelMan for having me.
Thank you all 3 of you.
Rare privilege working with you. I don't know what the future holds. Chris has just fucking done so much. I don't think he could be bothered going past the first 16, by the way. Which I don't blame him.
thoughts, or that's obviously really nice, and nice username too. I mean, he's been great in making all those videos too, and the guy pretty much does it just for like volunteer wise. I sent him like maybe a couple bits of gear, and the guy's been amazing. But yeah, I mean that was really, really nice of you guys. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I have to say that was very touching.
Yeah, Rod.
And deserving for you. I also got a little bit of a Tim and Eric vibe throughout that thing.
I fucking hate that show. Oh my god, it's too much.
Oh god.
But other than that, I think that was the most deserved tribute you could have while still being alive.
This has kind of felt like Awake to some extent.
I know, hasn't it?
The whole show.
It's been fun though. I mean, it's been a lot of fun today.
Like
man, how long have we been on, man? We've been on like, oh my god, almost 11 hours. But all right, final thoughts. Final thoughts for Unfiltered.
I've been saving this. This was like some special fucking blend that I got made like ages ago. It's like a blend of loads of different whiskeys, and they put it in a barrel for. I've been saving it for a special occasion. So 8 a.m. 8 a.m. This is what esports does to folk. So yeah, final thoughts, dude. Final thoughts from John, man, the veteran.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I mean, seeing that, the Unfiltered little goodbye thing, and not having been on the show, but seeing it being put together, and then those were graphics that I helped Chris put together for the show, and that kind of made me think, working with Chris has been a lot more than just about, for at least in my situation with Chris, it's been a lot more than just climbing the ladder. It was, we've done we did a Star Strikers tournament together. We've just, we purposely, he came down to Austin, Texas, where he's from originally, but, or had lived for a while, and it was for Lone Star. But I mean, we made it a point to go out and eat a couple times, and we've worked on small projects, here and there, and he's actually continued to help support me when I haven't had paid jobs or were not being paid by Quantic. He would give me graphic design jobs, things to do as a friend. And that was like the coolest thing. I mean, I've been in esports a long time, and a lot of people come and go, and then there's a few people that have stuck around, Marcus and who I've known and worked with for a long time, but I've met very few people that have been friends that you've genuinely looked at and said, that this guy is not just some guy I'm working with, or some guy who's just as passionate as I am about esports, and we're both on the same page, right? It was just genuinely a friend. I mean, it helps that he's about my age and we both have kids. That doesn't happen very often in esports, that I meet someone, that has kids, but that certainly helped. But yeah, I mean, I've known a lot of people in esports for a long time, but very few friends. And Chris has been a very good friend since we just first started talking. I think we might be brothers from another mother or something like that. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Good thing is because I am friends with him, I'm still going to be friends with him, even after the show.
I won't be.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you, realize you have, a small world it is. There are 3 people from Nebraska that you've had on your show. Realize that, right?
DJWheat. This is like the center of the fucking esports.
It's right here.
Holy fuck.
It's right here.
Does DJWheat still live in Nebraska, or did he move to California?
He lives.
No, he's still here.
No.
He's still there.
He lives about 6 minutes from me.
Still off like 120th and Maple, like that area?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, shit.
So anyway, Chris will still be my friend. I'm gonna go visit him in Florida, I think.
No, that'd be good, man.
I've never seen any of you in real life before in Nebraska. Is that a little bit fucked up?
It's totally messed up.
I don't think you ever will either.
Why not? They live really close too.
Yeah, I live like
close.
10-15 minutes from both of these guys. But, well.
All right, any other final thoughts?
I have a final question and comment. Sorry, let the garbage truck go by. You talking earlier about your favorite moments and I guess on the show and coming into esports, and I saw the video that you put out when talking about why you are leaving, and also earlier with Wheat about some of the more overall reasons for leaving. But now that you did such successful shows, you were able to bring people together, which you wanted to, and kind of help form relationships and push this further, and also see what you could do yourself. Or did you set out to do what you wanted to do from the onset?
Good question.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because Vice is one of the guys who's been helping me for a while. He was telling me, he was reminding me actually last time. It was like just my goal initially was just to have a list of people to be on the show ever. Funny enough, I never actually completed that list, but the point of the show again was really just to have impact. Have impact on the community. Do something the community will love. This is beyond what I thought was possible actually. So it's really it's definitely cool that so many people have messaged and I've been inspired or that sort of thing. So to answer your question, yeah, I think I've accomplished that, and if I can inspire other people who will do shows that are bigger than my shows, then that's amazing and mission accomplished. And I hope I do that. I definitely see some folks again that message me who are doing content now, and that makes me feel good, and that's what the product of something that's something like passion, that's more of a passion project than anything else should result in, I guess you could say. So yeah, I'm proud of a lot of things that we've done, and more proud of again just some of those shows that didn't get many viewers. More so than just the fact that Unfiltered gets thousands of viewers, which was a goal of mine too. Is would have been nice. It's oh man, if I could just get a show that just had 1,000 viewers, every week. But that's part of it, Rod. You know what I mean? Whenever you're doing a show, you have these goals that you're trying to meet, and when I have 1,000 viewers, that just means more people being exposed to what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing. So yeah, in the end, yeah, just those episodes and what we were able to do was exactly what I wanted to do.
At least for me, seeing you from the first shows that you were doing up until now, I truly do believe that you did, what you completely did what you set out to do. And at least for me, who's been doing, did Live on 3 with Wheat for 5 years now, watching you do your shows, as professionally for me, as someone who also hosts a show, you gave me the drive to try to make Live on 3 better, because we got complacent. There are things like the good studio, but they're always off every 4 weeks doing whatever the fuck they do over there. So you were the only other one that could be consistent, and with Steven and with Richard, it was a legitimate show with similar opinions, and a lot of the time different opinions and such. So it gave me what you did professionally with the show, I think, was incredible, and it really did inspire me to continue to work as hard to try to best you, to try to make the best show that I could do for Live on 3 as an example for a host. So at least for me, you really did come out and do really, I think, something that would be inspiring to most people coming into esports, especially as someone who hasn't been around since the old boys club. You're relatively new compared to a lot of people, and you have been able to make one of the top shows, and for a long time the biggest all esports show on the net, along with casting Hearthstone and doing everything else that you've done. It shows people that it really can be done. All you have to do is work hard, be smart, plan your things out, and know what your audience wants to listen to and read, and you can make it in esports if you try. So.
And that reminds me too, Rhonda, is that's one of my that was one of my objectives too, which is to show that you can, show you that somebody who's not naturally entertaining and anything like that. I mean, vanilla ChanMan, it's not untrue. Can actually, again, like have a successful show as well as get a chance to actually host the DreamHack. I mean, that's like stupid. Like I can't believe that. Like honestly. So, just work hard. I mean, that's all it is. Just be consistent, work hard, and just something we were talking about earlier in the show. If you're, if you continue to do it and be consistent, your opportunity will come, and that's a little bit of luck. The sooner it happens, it has a lot to do with luck, but eventually your time will come, and hopefully I'm an example of that, so people can be inspired by that. But yeah, anyways, final thoughts from me. Just each one of you guys again. John, again, like I feel like the next, really taking a very big step forward was because of our show. You know what I mean? And your experience in esports just helped me too. You know what I mean? You taught me a lot of stuff about esports I didn't know about. You know what I mean? And I've been a friend too, of course. But you really gave me, just that real look into esports and really made me want to, just delve into that side of it, just to the behind the scenes type of esports. Richard, I believe in you, I always will. So, definitely continue on your success. Like the public needs you. You're one of the brave guys. There's only a few, I have two of the most bravest people in esports on my show. You know what I mean? And
the bravery.
I'm serious. Like, how many people say the shit that you guys say? I'm just like, it's just true. I mean, like, I wouldn't even say like half the things you guys say. So, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be able to, work with you guys. And, I'm lucky that nobody else, started shows with you guys or wanted to start shows with you guys because they're fucking stupid.
We did a pretty good job of repulsing the competition.
Yeah. And now, like, everybody wants to do shows with you guys now, right? So, that's awesome. That's absolutely amazing. And so continue that, Richard. Rod, Live on 3 pushed me, what I mean? Like, same thing. It's the same thing that you said about our show. But, Live on 3 was the example of what an esports show should be. I still think you guys need Scoots. You need Scoots. Get that motherfucker back on your show. But, but having you guys as an example was, really, really important. And, Rod, you've always done some good work too. Like whether it was at LG with, the shows you did there and just the work you did there. I felt like that was some of the best times for journalism. Actually, the team at LG, it's just unfortunate that team actually ended up having to break up because I thought some really good people over there. But, when you guys had the staff or whatever. But, over the years though, Rod, you've done a really, really good job there. Hopefully you continue. If somebody's going to nab you up, it'd be stupid not to nab you up. It's just crazy. Like, I can't believe you don't have a job yet.
That's okay.
Absolutely.
This is all you. This is your fucking day. Fuck me. No one gives a shit about me. Really, seriously, I do not matter. You are the man.
Whatever.
You are
the man. And then Steven, lastly, it's like, you reaching out to me, it was just like, wow, again, because I have always wanted to, I have this mythical book thing that I have with all my ideas in it. And, you're one of those pages. And it was just like, I didn't ask you because, we didn't even know each other. You know what I mean? So the day that you asked me, it was just like, oh my God. And it was just like heaven shining upon me. And it was just like, this is going to be amazing.
Can I time out that real quick?
Yeah.
Chris, before we get further. You do remember, though, you did ask me my opinion of that.
What?
You were a bit nervous about
Steven?
working with Steven. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. But in a legit way. You're like, should I do it? Should I do it? I said, absolutely no. You're right. You wanted to. That was for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely wanted to, but it was just like one of those things where it's just like have somebody else, like, what do you think of that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, you reaching out to me, Steven, was like, amazing. And Steven, no matter what people think about Steven, being, I don't know, the way, unreliable or whatever because he slept through some stuff at tournaments, Steven's been exceptionally reliable. And as a show host, that's like the hardest thing. Like, Pro Corner was hell for me sometimes, guys. Because players would just cancel on me, like, literally 5 minutes before the damn show and shit like that. And you're just, like, fucking scurrying and stuff. But Steven, was here. There was only that one show where you, like, overslept by 2 hours. And we was the Tara Babcock show actually with against stuff. But that that's the only thing. He's always been here, and like no question, and that's really really important. And again, Steven, like the StarCraft 2 community, like they need you. You know what I mean? I'm just really happy that you've even been able to do it. Even though like you doing those tournaments and those events now, that's just like awesome, dude. You know what I mean? So that's really really great to see, and I'm glad you're back in the StarCraft 2 community, and hopefully it continues. But doing Unfiltered, man, I really really appreciate it. Like definitely I gained more than you gained, from this relationship for sure. So I really really appreciate that, dude. And then all the fans too, man. All the fans, like, you guys are why I did it. So, the StarCraft 2 community too, more than the Hearthstone community, like, is really important to me. So, I won't forget that, and I'll just be, part of you guys again. That's it's not like I'm gonna be like never watching esports again. I'm just, gonna be just one of you guys, and just not doing shows and that sort of thing. But anyways, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor doing it for you guys, and hopefully you guys will remember the show and check out the VODs every once in a while, because they'll still be on YouTube. And buy the shirts, guys. Buy the shirts, all right, man? because we got to get rid of those shirts. I guess it's kind of the big thing. But that's gonna be it, guys. It's gonna be it for Unfiltered.
Just before we duck out, dude, and I want Steven to fucking chime in and say something, just short. I'm super fucking sad about the show ending. I don't think there's anyone else in the world that can make me fucking stay up for 12 hours, talking shit about esports. And it's look, you've alluded to it. Like I know that there was like the first show I did was Climbing the Ladder with you and John. So there's a real that was the first show I ever did. That was the first presence I ever had beyond writing. And I don't know if I'd have had any sort of fucking esports career. So I don't know if it wasn't for you, So thanks. I got to meet some cool dudes, John, you, and I got a relationship with Steven. It was like someone who was this like super complex character that I never really got to understand. Like I just wrote about him. Now I know him. We get to hang out. It's I don't know. It sucks. Sucks we're not gonna do this anymore. So yeah.
Damn. I mean, I don't really do like the whole like goodbye, like your dad shit. I mean,
it's all good, man. It's all good.
I had a lot of fun. I mean, this has been fun from the start. ChanManV, you're a funny fucking dude. Obviously, I've got to meet and talk to a lot of people on the show that I might not have otherwise had the opportunity to, especially not in this format, So I mean, that's always been cool. That shout out to our. So wait, was Richard ever like officially deemed a co-host or
well, he accepted he accepted out of the blue.
There were a few days where he was like off the show.
Like this one I think was the official co-hosting.
This one you were the official and then I thought almost Cody was like a co-host.
Well, Cody wasn't an official co-host, but he was like a regular. Okay. He was a regular for a while, though, for sure.
But yeah. Richard, do we have like an official point on that when Richard hopped in as co-host? Is that just
when he declared he was a co-host? Even because I had an open invitation for like ever, right? Basically, once you left Esports Heaven, you declared.
Yeah, I was free to declare.
He didn't let me know before. He's just like, okay, I'm taking that co-host like on the show. That was pretty funny.
Gotcha. So I mean, I mean, I've had fun on here for the most part. Some of the days we talk a little bit too much about Dota, cut into my Eve time a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, everything on the show's been a lot of fun. A lot of great people to talk to, and this format has been awesome. A lot of great arguments, a lot of memories that are going to be added to the compendium that in 10 years we'll look back and we'll think of a couple times, like remember that asshole called in on the fucking show and we made fun of him, but he said he was sorry, or there are a handful of things that we'll take away from this that I don't think we'll ever necessarily forget. Like all the and this can be part. What's the oh fuck?
Thorin getting fired from a job. I don't think anybody will forget that. Like
what's the oh yeah fuck. What's the show where they have like it's like a sitcom and they have like the one line where the guy's like, the worst thing about the good times is that you don't know you're living in them until you're past them, right? Because everybody talks about the good times. I think this was the good times a little bit. So that's all I got.
All right. Oh, one last thing I forgot to is just like a few guys that have helped me through the shows for a while, and Vice Conroy.
I thought you were gonna do one more plug on the t-shirts.
Vice Conroy, War CG, and Trio. Those guys like, again, like a lot of ideas, a lot of times where it's like they're like telling me about what's going on in the community because I missed something, and doing it volunteer. You know what I mean? Like there from the day one. Like Vice Conroy and Trio were there from day one. They maybe one or two of them even gave me the idea to like, why don't you start a show? And I didn't even consider it until they even mentioned it to me. So those guys have been invaluable. I'll probably even get with any of some other folks that are doing shows and stuff, and see if you guys could definitely use them, because again they're just amazing assets for me and should continue to do it. So big shout out to those guys too. Those guys mean a lot to me too. But okay.
And to everyone that's ever watched.
Yeah, all the fans.
1 minute of anything that any of us have done.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Definitely. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for the last time for myself, ChanManV, Destiny, Richard Lewis, John Clark, and Slasher. We'll see you next time. Peace. Later.
Well,
what?
See ya.
Not really.
What?
We'll see you next time. Can you really end the last episode like that?
Okay, I'll well, maybe
maybe
we'll see. Maybe we'll see you. Maybe we'll see you on Christmas. Maybe we'll see you during Christmas one of these days.
What you should have did was, how at the end of every Cowboy Bebop episode it says "See you, Space Cowboy." At the very last episode, it said, "You're gonna carry that weight."
Oh my god.
That's how you should have ended it. No, okay.
All right, later.